Yo, what is good, YouTube? Welcome back to another JC2K video. In today's video, we are going to be talking about King of the Court. And this is kind of the second episode of multiple videos that I'm going to be doing, breaking down different game modes in 2K25 and how I think they could be improved upon for 2K26, or what I liked about them for a couple of game modes. Unfortunately, King of the Court is not really going to be one of those game modes. I don't think I'm going to have super positive things to say about the majority of King of the Court. There are a couple of positives to the mode, but I think it could be improved upon drastically for next year. So before we hop into it, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Help me push towards the 50,000 subscriber mark on the channel. I upload every single day, multiple videos a day. Would really appreciate it if y'all do subscribe. Without further ado, let's get into it and let's talk about King of the Court. I think today's a good day to do it because today is Saturday. As I record this video, King of the Court is actually currently going on, but I'm not playing because I'm not interested, to be totally honest. You know what I mean? I don't feel like playing King of the Court at this point in the year, is the honest truth. It's just not very enjoyable for me personally. That being said, I think if King of the Court #1 was in a format that was not the exact same as 250K qualifiers were for years when the 250K qualifier was going on, that would be an initial start to really improve this mode. So what that means is I don't think we need to have one 4-hour period of time over the entire weekend in which to play King of the Court. Because if you are busy Saturday from noon to 4 Central Time, or 1 to 5 Eastern Time, or 10 to 2 Eastern Central or Pacific Time, whatever time zone you're in, if you're American anyway, you can't play. And if you're overseas, it's in the middle of the night. You know what I mean? For a lot of people, or early in the morning or really late at night. Like, it just depends on where you live, obviously. But regardless, I wouldn't say for the majority of players who are majority American, putting King of the Court in the middle of a Saturday afternoon is probably not an ideal place to put it. That's my initial perspective. People are doing lots of things on Saturday and don't want to be stuck in the middle of the day having to play King of the Court for 4 hours straight if they want to play at all. So that's #1. The #2 thing that I don't like that also kind of goes hand in hand with this is 2K's obsession. And I talked about this yesterday on the Our Team podcast with Jazz and some of those guys. I'm not sure a lot of y'all watch that podcast, and y'all can go watch that when it releases Sunday or Monday. But we talked about this, and I think it was a great point in that podcast. 2K has an obsession with eliminating people in a mode like this, whether it be 250K qualifiers in the past, in King of the Court this year. I don't think that's necessary. I think if you look at other games, weekend league type modes, which FIFA has. FIFA, you got 15 games. Madden, you used to have 20 or 25. I believe it was 25. Now you have MUT Champs, and you have Gauntlet in the NCAA and in Madden, that does, to be fair, have elimination in the Gauntlet. But the thing about all of those modes, with the exception of Gauntlet, is that there's not that elimination format. You get to play your total number of games, and there's a specific number of games, and then based on how you do in those games determines the rewards you get. So #1, I'd like to see that. I don't think we need elimination. I think there is okay, you have 12 games to play this weekend, or 15 or 10 or whatever number they decide to settle on, but a certain number of games that you can play from when content comes out on Friday to, let's say, when content would come out on Monday. So from 10 a.m. Central on Friday to 10 a.m. Central on Monday. In that 3-day period of time, you have literally just King of the Court is open as a mode for that entire period of time, and you have 12 games or 15 games or however many it is to play in that period of time. You are then ranked based on your win percentage. So that's the first initial ranking. And then for people who are tied in win percentage, you're based on your strength of schedule. So basically, what your opponent's record would be, basically just the opponent's record you played against total. So if your opponents in total, on average in their 12 games, won 7 out of 12 games, you'd have a winning percentage of slightly over 500 or whatever. That could be your strength of schedule for that stat. I don't think I'm explaining that properly, but I think y'all understand what I mean. So win percentage, so basically if you win 11 of 12, you're above everybody else who won 10 of 12 games or less. And then after that, with the people who are 11 out of 12, you're ranked based on your strength of schedule. You could also be ranked on your point differential. There are different ways that they could do this, and they could implement some sort of skill-based matchmaking to it, where the more wins you have, the more people you match, the higher up in people you match with other people who also have a lot of wins. So if you have 9 or 10 wins and you're playing your 11th or 12th game, you're going to match somebody else who has 8, 9, 10 wins, somewhere around there, and get yourself pretty good competition. I think there are lots of ways to be creative with it, but I feel like it could be reworked so phenomenally and re-ranked and redone in such a more quality way that, number one, probably rewards the better players even better. Now, to be fair, the people who are actually winning King of the Court are still the best of the best. I mean, on a week-to-week basis, the people who win King of the Court are generally your best players. Guys like Ty Debo and Splash and Ebans and people like that, who are some of the best players in the world, are generally the people winning it. Not always. There are absolutely fluky winners, and I think one of the most important things that determines who wins on a week-to-week basis is luck, quits, matchup quality, all that type of stuff. And while those things would still factor in a longer format of King of the Court over the weekend, I think it would do so less, because I think everybody will be playing the same number of games, and that rewards you with how well you play in your games, and also takes into effect how competitive your competition is. I think there are different ways to do that. Maybe you don't even do a skill-based matchmaking. Maybe there's no skill-based matchmaking to it, and you just get ranked on how you play and how many wins you get, and then just other like point differential and strength of schedule and things like that. Either way, that's number one. The format isn't good. But number two, the rewards themselves are not very good either. For getting number one overall in July, the very end of the game, you get 1 million VC, which is cool. But remember, only one person on each console wins that 1 million VC, which is cool. But you also get an invincible option pack, not even a GOAT pack, in the last season of the game. And then if you aren't the top one person who gets 5 GOAT cards as well, you get those GOAT event pieces. If you're not top one, you're top 1%, and you get a 100 overall, not even a plus, just a regular 100 overall premium option pack. You're telling me I'm gonna grind 4 hours for 100 overall, and if there's not a festival going on, you're not even getting event pieces. But they have put these GOAT event pieces in there, which helps a little bit. Still not enough of an incentive in my opinion. And throughout the year, the rewards themselves have just been pretty disgracefully bad. You could play for 4 hours, get top 10%, play pretty good, win almost all your games, and get a dark matter and 2 GOAT event pieces for 4 hours of grinding in what is supposed to be the best of the best compete here for elite rewards, all caps, each weekend. Those are not elite rewards. Nothing about this mode's rewards this year were consistently elite. Plain and simple. There needs to be some sort of MT prize. There need to be maybe a VC prize for each tier. Like maybe if you get top 50%, you get 25,000 VC. If you get top 10%, you get, I don't know, well, let's say 10,000 VC at top 50%, 35,000 VC at top 10%, and then 75,000 VC at top 1% or something like that. Some sort of additional reward. Better player rewards will also not hurt. I think it should be a GOAT player for number one overall, a invincible option pack, maybe even an invincible equal chance pack of some sort for top 1%. I don't honestly think it's a bad idea to give you an invincible for top 10% at this point in the year. Like, this is supposed to be elite rewards. The rewards in this mode were very rarely even close to elite this year. That's just the honest truth. And that combined with a poor format that limits people on when they can play, how much they can play, and how much, honestly, a lot of things like skill matter as much. I feel like it would matter a lot more if they did it properly. There's just a lot of ways that they could easily do a much better job with a mode like King of the Court than they did this year. And I do want to say this before I end the video. I am not advocating for 2K to remove the mode. Improve it. You don't have to change. I mean, that's the thing. 2K in the past has dropped modes that weren't optimized properly, be it limited, be it the draft mode that they did for a couple years. And instead of improving upon those ideas, they just scrapped them. I would like to see King of the Court be an idea that returns, but in an improved fashion, where it's more rewarding and more accessible and maybe more accurate as well on a week-to-week basis in terms of actually defining who the best players are. Give top players an actual incentive to play and reward people for their time. Because this is supposed to be the best of the best, the thing you look forward to all week. MLB has that in Weekend Classic. FIFA has that in Weekend League. Even Madden and college football and games like that have that with Gauntlet. King of the Court did not meet that expectation this year, and I hope that it does next year. That is my thoughts. I hope y'all did enjoy the video. If you did, make sure you hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. I'll be back with more 2K content very, very soon, and I appreciate y'all. Peace.